Well, all right. Welcome everybody to our RealBird Hands-On Workshop. We're glad you can be here this morning. Thanks for joining us. We get together at least twice a month, to usually the first and third Fridays of the month, bringing to you the best information and training that you can use to help you become successful. It is based in our RealBird products, but it doesn't stop at that. RealBird is a tool that can be used in so many different ways. It's like the giant Swiss Army knife to help you become more successful with buyers and sellers. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Also, the topic that we've been asked about, by the way, my name is Eric Zebarth. I'm a real estate marketing coach. I work with clients across the country and helping them put their marketing together and maintain it, keep it up and going, and keep it aggressive. I've been invited to be a trainer on this webinar here today. I'm not alone. I am with Gabe Gross, one of the owners and developers of RealBird. He's with us today. Good morning, Gabe. How are you?
Good morning. Well, how can I be bad? I'm looking out in the blue California sky. There's not a wisp of smoke anywhere.
Ooh,
Sunshine,
that's
happiness,
unusual.
low
That's
unemployment. Things are going well.
Yeah, and your price and the prices of your homes in there are incredible, crazy.
Well, you've got to pay, if you want to have this kind of stuff here.
Pay to
But
play.
I don't know how my kids are going to be able to afford this.
Yeah. Well, they can move back in with you.
That's true. Well, the one of them already is.
Oh, okay. And I've seen your place. It's not very big. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Let's dive right into our content here today. Our session is being recorded. There's an opportunity, even though you're in our webinar here today, you're in listen-only mode, but you can chat, and there's on the right-hand side, there's a chat box that you can ask questions, make comments, and while I'm presenting and sharing today and training, Gabe's going to be able to monitor that and answer questions, and the questions might appeal to everybody. Gabe's going to share them so that we can, really get this nailed down. This is a topic I've been working with real estate agents for, 20 years, and they're helping them with their marketing, with a heavier side to the digital marketing. But I've seen a lot of agents attempt to become the kind of the go-to neighborhood local expert, and it's not an easy thing. The cool thing is there's more tools available to be able to do that, to establish yourself as such. By the way, I always share at the first of our RealBird webinars the training that says basically, RealBird is this tool you might not be using as much as you should. The agents I work with that use it a lot, that's amazing how much leverage they can get out of a tool that costs around $100 a year annually. But basically, RealBird Toolbox is made up of listing publisher and the property search. I know we talk more about the listing publisher, probably because you can do more with it than the property search, but those are still kind of two sides of what I call the RealBird brain, so to speak. And this listing publisher gives you the opportunity to be able to take a listing, by the way, coming soon, active, pending, sold, doesn't even matter what status, and to be able to create a single property website that can be seen by the world, and that can be shared, and that can be seen by Google, which is pretty cool. Now you might say, hey, I already have my listing, I put it in the MLS, and the MLS takes it and shares it everywhere till a buyer shows up, and that's fine. But you're not in the driver's seat. You're not driving I'm not going to say drive the bus, but you're not driving the Corvette. You're sitting in the trunk. So with the RealBird listing tool, what it really does is empowers an agent to be able to own that listing with their contact information and the way they want that listing presented, without their personal information scraped off. We know that's going to happen anyway, and then we're fine if somebody brings a buyer. But if you could control the animal, so to speak, if you can control the beast, and that is control your listing, and particularly in any one of these statuses, that's something you can't do any other way. Can't do it in the MLS, can't do it in Zillow. It really gives you an opportunity to do that. And these single property websites that you would build, they say a lot about who you are. It's not just about, here's some pretty pictures of the listing. What it's doing is empowering you with, it's empowering you with information around. Gabe, I lost you.
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
something happened on your
Okay.
side.
So what I was sharing with you is that when you have the opportunity with RealBird to create your own single property listing, each one of those listings says a lot about who you are, and that travels along with this. In fact, this one just went pending last night. I get an opportunity to jump in here, and for Noel Kreider, she's up in Auburn, California, Northern California, and let's see, let's change the status on that, right? That just went pending last night. She just said. While I'm in here, I'm going to do that. So the idea is this single property website tells a lot about you, about the listing, and you have room to add a video. You can actually add chat to it. You're not limited on how many characters. I can't tell you how many clients I work with in the marketing, and they're limited to a description. I got one client in Austin. If you're selling a home in Austin and you're loading a listing in there, MLS, you get 509, not 510. You get 509, not words, but characters. So how are you going to explain this beautiful home on Lake Travis with this luxury contemporary condo in 509 characters? It's impossible. That's the answer. So the idea is that with RealBird, it really is out of the box. It really gives you an opportunity to be able to market that listing in a way that should be marketed with proper video, awesome photos, local schools built right into it, market stats if they're available for that zip code, so people can see that kind of where that home lies in that area. Opportunity to be able to share that everywhere. This can be shared throughout, through social media. 10 different languages. It's really a great opportunity to be able to represent this home. By the way, you can set it up so that people see your reviews. They can learn more about you. They can link to your Facebook page, and every single property website that you have, no matter if it's, by the way, no matter what status it's in, active, open, coming soon, closed, pending, it's still going to create a kind of a self-contained website information satellite specific to that listing and about you that's going to travel the internet connected to you and who you are. Here, I'm just pulling this page. I'll show you this a little bit later. This is Susan Rupert. She's in State College, PA. This happens to be the area she dominates. She owns this area. I was able to create this map because she's been in, she's been in RealBird, used RealBird for about 6 years now. She makes sure that every one of her listings is in RealBird, and then we're able to populate a map like this and show what she sold. Okay, Penn State, everything around here is kind of State College. That's kind of like central to the State College area. If you need to buy or sell, is Susan Rupert your gal? Absolutely. Look all the success she's had in that area. I know no other tool, and I've seen a lot of tools in 20 years. I know another tool that communicates that more clearly than, hey, this is why you should, work with Susan if you're looking for someone that to help buy or sell, in the State College area. This is actually two different ways to show it. These are all represented here in kind of Pinterest style, a little widget cards. That this is also RealBird. So it's just two different ways to show the same information. Believe it or not, this will appeal to some people, and other people will be more interested in this version right here. But the idea is you can show that. You can share that expertise. I think that's powerful. If you're new to RealBird this month, but you're not new to real estate, I would go back and get your listings in RealBird. If it's a past sale, don't worry about it. Have at least one picture that you've taken, not that you scraped from somebody else's advertising of that listing. But go back and take another picture, but build a listing in your listing publisher, mark it sold. You don't need a whole bunch of description, but like beds, baths, square footage. I usually have them do a good title. Don't put in directions. Hey, come see us in the open house on Saturday at 2:00. Don't do that. Don't need any directions, anything like that. But show minimal, at least one picture, small description. Mark it sold. Okay, mark it sold, and then you'll have these tools available to you so you can show your expertise. And because I think when you're going to talk about being a local expert, and by the way, there's two sides to it. One, hey, I already am the local expert. I just have to convince the people that live there or that want to live there that I'm the expert. And I have, past sales to be able to show that. That's fine. By the way, those past sales, we're not just talking about seller leads, buyer leads. Maybe you help someone become a buyer in that neighborhood that you want to be known as an expert in. Not a problem. When you create these single property websites, I'm going to do it as if I'm adding one from the past. I'm going listing marketing, and see where it says ad for sale listing. That's what I know. It's not really for sale, but that's where you start. Ad for sale listing, and then just make sure the details you put in there. Make sure you're going to mark it sold or rented. That's it. Select that before you put some of your details in there. Definitely put a headline. Definitely put a description in here and here. This one's a little longer. You can dress up a little more. And there's room to put neighborhood information. This is your description of the neighborhood. This box travels with every listing that you would create in RealBird. And guess what? The information you put in this box, this gets read by the search engines. Because search engines are hungry. Which is one thing I've learned about search engines. Search engines are hungry to be an expert in everything. Okay, and they can be the expert. Say to pick a town like I don't know where like near where Gabe is. Okay, so like Palo Alto. Okay, so the search engines seem to have a lot of information gathered generally about an area as big as Palo Alto. But drilling down to Atherton, or drilling down to a smaller area, Menlo Park or something like that, the search engines and even Zillow are not as expertise. They don't have the same level of expertise. So guess what? They have to rely on agents or business people that post content to show that they know what's happening on that corner. That's where you really have a benefit. Now I know I've been sharing that for about 3 years, and Zillow has gotten actually pretty good at drilling down in these neighborhoods and showing kind of what's for sale and what the local real estate market is happening in these communities, not just on the city level or town, but down to the community neighborhood. So they've realized it too, and so they've gotten aggressive with it. But be open with yourselves. What areas do you want to be specific with? You have plenty of opportunities to be able to share tools to help people, convince them that you're the expert, or that at least that you want to be. Okay. So that's the RealBird in a nutshell. But I always, because most of you are here are already RealBird clients, and you are using these tools, but probably not enough and not the right way. So continue to come back to our webinars. You're going to learn more on how to be able to do that. I've highlighted a few things here in red because these are some tools that that are available, that have been improved, like approved and added to RealBird. So they're constantly adding tools that'll help you be more successful. Okay, so all right, so let's get on with our content. So being the local expert, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. We talked about, do you want to be known as the agent, as a specialist, because you want to sell more homes in that area? That's typically what you want to do. You want to attract attention and be known by the people that want to eventually sell in that neighborhood. You want them to be able to look to you to come sell their house. That's kind of what it's about. But it could also be for the buyer side as well, in that you want to be known. There's certain neighborhoods where people are dying to get in, and there's not a lot of room, not a lot of movement, because people like the place so much. I remember a neighborhood in Oceanside. Oceanside. Can't talk so much. Go ahead, Gabe.
I just wanted to mention one thing, that all this stuff has to happen within short attention spans of people, because today everybody, or most everybody, or I would guess everybody, has a short attention span, whatever that is. Realtor.com has done a research a few years ago, and they came up with 3-4 minutes. So these people don't know you, right? So why do you want to convince them that you know what you're talking about the neighborhood? Well, because obviously then they're going to prefer to work with you. So that's the psychological effect. And then Eric also mentioned the mechanical effect for the search engines looking for relevant information. But the search engines have infinite patience, or almost, but people don't. And if somebody finds something about you, whether it's your website or your Facebook page or anything, they will make an opinion about you based on that information, obviously, because that's all they have. They didn't know you 5 minutes ago. Now they're going to have to go. So that's why you have to be so crafty about how you how you do this, is because it's not just that the search engines have to index this whole thing. It's that you want to impress these people so that they can transit from being a virtual person who looks at your whatever, you don't even know that they're looking at your website, to becoming a real person in your life with which who they tell you who they are and what they're interested in, so you can work with them.
Here's a neighborhood I'm just going to, this is actually, by the way, this is not created by a realtor, but I think realtors should do something like this. This is a neighborhood where I used to live in San Diego. It's called St. Malo. And a lot of this is a neighborhood that's been around since, gosh, 1929. And it's really cool. The designs are really cool. The houses are actually, some of these houses are actually new, but it's made to look like a Normandy fishing village. It's literally right on the beach. They have their own private beach. But there's not a lot of people that move out of this area. Most of these homes down rather than the bought or sold. You say, okay, why would I want to sell there? But I just want to share with you that's a concept that could really work for you. Obviously not in the neighborhood where there's not a lot of movement, because that's one of the things you need to be aware of is pick a subdivision where things are happening. I got a couple ideas. I'm going to come back to this. A couple ideas to help you kind of pick an area if you don't have one already. Pick an area that you like, that you want to work, that you want to represent, that you should be passionate about. Pick area that has like high turnover. You wouldn't pick probably St. Malo because maybe there's one sale for 3.5 to 5.5 million within a year, and that's, you're not going to make a lot of commission. Spend a lot of time and effort trying to be the expert in that area. But pick a high cost area. Now that's not always true. I would say obviously these are some of the ideas that I've shared before. I would say also bread and butter. That bread and butter means an area maybe that's not maybe a high price point, but that's moving a lot, an area that people want to be in. Obviously they're moving in and moving out, but it would be either pick a high cost area or a bread and butter area. But the idea is you want to be in the flow of business so that you can be paid for your efforts. That there's enough opportunity to happen there. And there's a lot of other ways: geographical area, first-time home buyers, and these aren't necessarily local neighborhood ideas, but these might be niches that you represent, topically or categorically. Okay, so how do you convince these neighborhood folks that you are or want to be their local realtor of choice? Well, the most important thing you start with is communication, and that would be that you got to be available to talk with. And I know there's still plenty of agents out there that are mailing to a neighborhood, that are sending a postcard every time they have just listed in the area or just sold, or hey, here's a little market report on a business card that says, hey, in your neighborhood, congratulations, you got some new neighborhoods moving. New neighbors just moved in at this address or whatever. And maybe some people might feel that that's a little too much invasion of their privacy, but just being a communication, a postcard's great. Nobody has to open an envelope. Have some good branding so they can see who you are, and communicate to that neighborhood that, hey, here's what's going on. People really appreciate that. They really appreciate it. Now, they didn't ask for it, so you could say, okay, that's kind of like interrupted marketing instead of permission marketing. And we want to get to permission marketing, but you got to start sometimes with interrupt marketing. In other words, they didn't ask for the market report. They didn't ask for you to have your thumb on the pulse of what's happening in their neighborhood. But step out there, be that resource for them, and then we're going to look for different ways to communicate that expertise to the people that already live there, okay? Another idea is you got to show benefits to them, maybe benefits that other agents might not provide. For example, if there's some local businesses in the area, I know that on that page I just showed you, they did a pretty good job of, what are they talking about? Like local restaurants, shopping, entertainment, parks and recreation. This kind of has maybe a side to the buyer side too, that you want to show a buyer that this area as well. So some of this could be used for convincing, for communicating with the seller, and some of it can be probably at schools and such like that. That's going to be more for the buyer, because a lot of people search for schools first before they search for a place to live. And I like this. They put that's really cool. Okay, so I guess we're talking not only about representing buyers but sellers, but buyers as well. But this site's done a good job of kind of explaining the local area. and local businesses as well. What about local businesses in this area? Could you have a neighborhood, could say for exist, say a St. Malo, Oceanside neighborhood discount because you've contacted some of the local businesses and said, hey, I'm a kind of representative for this area as a real estate specialist. Do you have a special discount that we could co-market, your business and me to put in front of the people that live in this area, so that they can have a benefit? Maybe it's a pizza business where they can have a coupon they bring in and they get the St. Malo discount or something like that. Now, I've heard a lot of agents want to do something like that and they get kind of overwhelmed, kind of like that's great in concept. That sounds like a great idea, but it sounds like a lot of work. It's really not. It's really just you being in the neighborhood already and doing well. Okay, let's talk about content. So there's Tara Parrish. She's in Salt Lake, which is north of me. They do a great job of interviewing businesses. The broker, Tara Parrish, she actually goes into the businesses and she's able to kind of highlight a business, and she finds some unique stuff that people maybe wouldn't normally hear about, or they don't do broad marketing on their own. And she does been very, very successful. I'm amazed at how much traction these short little videos she does, and just it's informal, it's raw, it's not staged really. And she goes into these businesses and she interviews the people, and it's amazing how much traction these videos get. Yeah, look at this guy. This was just not done too long ago, and there's a in the neighborhood that she markets, Sugar House. Here's this vegan bar, and she'll go in and interview, and the traction these videos are getting are just incredible. And it didn't take her long. She just say, hey, I'll meet with you. I want to talk to you about your business, introduce you to my database and who I am. And it's amazing to me that these simple ideas that she's launched that don't take a lot of time and don't take a lot of effort, but she's getting some great reviews and tons of people are watching this. Try to see if you can hear this. Oh, he might turn on the lights. So enough of that. But now what she does is she posts them on Facebook first, and I come and bring them into the website. But people love this, and the cool thing that's happening now is that this type of realtor on the street, getting to know these other really cool businesses. What's happening is not only are people viewing them, but they're sharing them, which is huge, and shares them into their database. But it also, I found that the company is getting good traction. For these companies are getting a benefit as well, because they're drawing more eyeballs to their business and inquiring and linking to their website or connecting with them on Facebook. And that's a huge thing. So in other words, this benefit doesn't just stop with the benefit to the realtor. It's a benefit also for the business. And you can see they're all smiling.
Hey, Eric,
they're all happy.
Eric,
yeah.
Your microphone is going in and out.
Okay, sorry. Let me see. I've got.
It sounds like it's slipping or something.
I think because I was running the video at the same time. These use a bit of bandwidth. How about now? Is that better?
Yeah.
Gabe, is that better?
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
that's
so.
what's going on. Okay, so I would say, what is a local business bonus? Do a video. Maybe you have a special bonus for the people in this neighborhood. Maybe this is drilled down a little too much, but these are some creative ideas that you can do that don't take a lot of time. And what about market reports? Generate market reports. There's a lot of things happening. Gosh, if you just listen to the news about real estate, even localized real estate, I've heard everything with, hey, it's going to be a great year. And I've heard, watch out, there's a drop, there's a bubble coming, it's going to burst, and I hear everything. And if people are just in the media, hear that with all these conflicting messages, guess what? You have the right answer, and you can put that right answer in front of people, because people want to know. The other thing that they want to know is what their home might be worth. Maybe they're not ready to sell. Maybe they want to refinance, but knowing what their home is worth. Well, that's another service that you can provide. And it's been maybe a little overdone because it's been a way for people that, hey, here's how you can get to know me as a real estate agent. I can offer you a competitive market analysis, or what your home would sell for in today's market, and that information might be helpful for you in different ways. I'd love to provide that service. Of course, there's a lot of tools nowadays that you can put on your website. They can just direct people to, and they can get a kind of gather that information and then put that report back out to the person that requested it. Although I recommend, that's not always the most accurate, and you got to always kind of add that disclaimer: hey, this is a quick analysis of what your home might be worth, but I'd like to come over and be invited into your home to be able to take a deeper look to get to help you make a more accurate assessment of what your home might be worth. So I know I have my clients we're always putting on their website and within their tools, what's my home worth. Here's what's PA homes worth. This is a tool that I built for my client Susan Ruber at State College, so that she can send people to it. It's still built within her website, so it has all their navigation. But hey, what is your State College home worth now? Let's find out. They put in their property address and show me, and they'll be getting connected with them. But these are all tools that can help communicate your value back to the agents. Back to the homeowners or potential home buyers in that market. You have to create content that supports your claim that hey, I'm the expert in your area. By the way, I have a link right here. It's a great article. It talks about how to write a real estate marketing report, how to write killer local market real estate reports. I thought it was really good, and this was just some really, really good steps. So anyway, those are my notes, and of course, I'm happy to share these notes with anybody, and let me know afterwards, and you can email me at webcoach@gmail.com, and I'll make sure I'll get that to you. Okay, so I think that's the key. It's really communication, and you communicate by creating content that is going to be a benefit to get it in front of those people. Also, maybe you didn't know this, but you can use Facebook has local groups, and that you can join. I know I've joined a few here. I live in Payson, Utah, south of Provo, and there are a lot of groups that I can join, and they're kind of neighborhood groups. Now, some of them are kind of more yard sale and friends and things like that of the neighborhood, or I know Nextdoor is another website that you can use to become a member of a neighborhood and kind of have your kind of listen into what's happening in the neighborhood and interact. But I found out there's a lot of groups that you can join that are localized groups in Facebook, and you can ask to join them. And I know that most of them are people selling things, but people are also sharing ideas. They're asking recommendations for realtors and contractors. I know I just used one in my local area. Hey, I need a good plumber. Have upstairs. I have a bathroom that needs to be redone, and I need a good plumber. So I went in there asking for a recommendation, and Facebook makes it really easy to do that. By the way, ask to join some of these groups. See who these groups are, and then click on there, say join the group. And once you get approved, now they might have their own rules about what you can post, in that, what you can post in there once you become a member in that group. But most of them haven't had a problem. I've seen each one of these areas, the groups that I'm in, people are posting, hey, I got a home for rent in Payson, or a home for sale in Payson, and here's a listing. And what can you be linking to? You could be linking to your RealBird listing of that home you're listing or promoting, or add your service to there. Say, hey, if you're looking for a good realtor, or you need to find out, you want to just talk about, is a good time to put my home on the market. But the idea is you can join these groups. There's a guy, Joshua Smith, I think his name. He's got a whole team, and I think they're Atlanta, Georgia, and he has a team of like 10 agents. And they all in different neighborhoods around Atlanta, and they've gone and done this. And he has a thing where he challenges them to post in 10 different groups that they're part of in Facebook, and they're getting tons of business without having to pay for Facebook leads. Now, I pay for Facebook ads for my clients all the time, and we do really well with that. But this is free stuff. This is join these groups and then share who you are, your services, and obviously your RealBird listings. Until someone says, hey, no, take that down. Okay, if they have with someone, oh, you're not supposed to share that. Okay, fine. You can still maybe share your services, but this is untapped potential. This is a lot of people have no idea that this is even available to them. But so definitely take full advantage of that. Okay. So you have to create content that supports your claim that you're an expert in the area. I shared a link to how to create a great real estate market report. Like I said, I can share these notes with you afterwards. I want to share with you that here's some top keywords. Now keywords would be words you would use in your marketing online, for example, that would fit into your website, that would work inside your website. But I thought it'd be interesting to show what are some of the top key phrases that people are going into the search engines looking for. And this is a clue, and I think it's pretty telling. People are looking for someone to trust. That's what that tells me. Looking for the best realtor, and maybe there might be localized. Like I know my client I'm going to show you next, Doug Buens. He's up in the Pleasanton area, east of San Francisco, east of where Gabe is. And these keyword phrases you could add the localized name in there, like best Pleasanton real estate agent, or best Pleasanton real estate agents, or best Pleasanton realtor, or that, because sometimes these terms are more localized individually to your areas, particularly when they're sought after areas. But estate agents, I thought that was interesting. Finding a realtor, that's big. How to find a real estate broker, real estate agent, real estate agencies. So these are some of the top phrases that this is real. This is real world. People are physically typing these words, looking for these type of things. And of course, the only difference would be here localized a little bit. And these are the keywords that people are looking for when they're selling their home. So this would be sellers that, now we hope that a seller doesn't have to go into Google looking for an agent. We hope that they have one by referral, or because they used them before, or because you've kept in contact with them since the last time they needed to sell a home. I mean, we hope all those things work, but I do think it's helpful to get in the head of the seller and see what words they're using, because you want to use those words to match in your marketing so that you can be the attractant for the people that are looking for these things. Look at sell fast, sell your home fast, staging your home to sell. That's a big one. And I know a lot of agents that I work with do staging physically and virtually. That is, I mean, if I show you a listing, some of these, if I show you a listing, you couldn't tell whether it was virtually staged or staged for, whether it was virtually staged or staged visually. I'll show you that. Maybe I'll show you that in a second. Let me go pull up a listing. Because sometimes homes are empty, and a staged home is a sold home. So I'll have that pull up, and I'll come back to that in a second. I don't know if you knew that you can stage your home virtually. They have tools, kind of like a built-in Photoshop, where you put these pictures of the home that you're listing, and if it's kind of empty, you can actually place a picture on the wall. You can flowers on the table. You can a headboard and you can put a bed and a headboard and a nightstand and a carpet. It's really amazing. It basically doesn't look like it's virtually staged, but it's a lot cheaper than bringing in the cargo container from your storage and stage another home. That can get, $10,000 to $15,000. Not that it's not worth it, but it's not worth it in every market. In an area like Gabe is in San Francisco area, I mean, if you have an empty home, it's worth staging it. It'd be worth $15,000, $20,000. You'll get that money back double in staging that home. So anyway, it's interesting, some of the key words. This is what people are really looking for. So if you can think about these words and how can you build content around it, already, and then share that content, of course. Post it, put it on your website, create an article, share it on Facebook, share it through your social media, Twitter, Instagram. You're at least going to be vibrating. You're going to be communicating what people are looking for. But this, rather than saying, I think I know what they're looking for, I think I know what they're asking for, these words will get you there faster. Okay. And then I'd want to share a tip in here. This is this is a note. These are some notes I've shared before. How to help with buyers using RealBird, but the one I'm focusing on probably more specifically today for sellers. Like I mentioned before, create single property websites for sold listings. Show a page showing that you're the expert. I showed that to sold in State College. It shows she's an expert in that area. And by the way, you could have represented the buyer side or the seller side. Show your solds on a RealBird map, and then you can actually embed it in your website. And focus on the featuring the properties that you want more of. I've done this so many times. It's like, okay, so you've sold mobile homes. Nothing wrong with that. I've lived in a mobile home when I was a kid, teenager. It was kind of cool, and felt like I was camping every day. But there's nothing wrong with a mobile home. Gosh, I've seen mobile homes now. They look like regular homes. You can't even tell. Or modular. That's probably a better way. But what if you've been marketing, if you've been selling mobile homes and you don't want more of, don't market that. Don't show that. Show more of what you want more of. Okay. I just want to show you some examples of some tools in here. Now, this is a client, Doug Boyens. He's a RealBird client, and he's, like I said, he's in the east of the Bay Area. Now, he's an expert in Pleasanton. That's his main area, but he has 9 other areas that that I say he's expert in. He's expert in because he's sold a lot of homes in these areas, and expert in because he's providing information that backs that up. Now, I built his website in such a way that on the homepage, it's generally about 680homes.com. 680 is a freeway that goes down the what's called the Tri-Valley area, east of the Bay Area, and that's the 680 homes. He's the 680 group, and this is them down here in the footer here. There we go, and they're just doing gangbusters. They're doing really well. But this is that's his front page of his website. But what I've done is on his website is I've created 11 faces, actually. These are 10 other faces to his website. Now, this is main area of Pleasanton, so we're going to go there. So this Pleasanton is a part of 680homes.com, but it's Pleasanton Real Estate. And by the way, this site gets searched. This site gets anywhere between 300 and 400. I'd say average 350, 400 people a day that are visiting this site, that they're attracted to it because they find it in the search engines. They're searching for Pleasanton real estate or homes for sale. They need to sell their home. So what I did is I created 10 other front pages to his website. Now, they're all downstream from 680homes.com, but they're specific to Pleasanton. What's your home worth? That tool's there because that's what people want to know. Why work with us? Why are we specialists in the Pleasanton area? You want to drill down and get to for buyers. You want to get to know more about the Pleasanton neighborhood. You can click here. Here's what's for sale in Pleasanton today. Here's some tools that might help you. Here's his take on the Pleasanton market. Shows, hey, I know what's going on in the area. Next to Pleasanton homes, Pleasanton neighborhoods, Pleasanton schools. Search, for your type of lifestyle within Pleasanton. Search luxury homes, advanced search, draw your own map search within Pleasanton, drill down the area. Neighborhood guide. This takes a little bit of time to create this stuff. I get that, but it's powerful. And I'm going to tell you, so there are some days that this page, because he's basically an expert in Pleasanton, there's many times that I see the stats on his website where he's getting more people coming to this page, which is an interior home page, than his front page. And that's because he's done a great job of convincing people online and through real live. Here, I'll show you the solds. That he is an expert and has had a lot of experience in Pleasanton, the Pleasanton market. I mean, if I was going to go into real estate and I wouldn't want to do it in Pleasanton, I'd have to compete with him. Because he's been very dominant. See, so he's gone in here, and here's all these listings that are sold. And if you look, most of them are Pleasanton. Some of them are Dublin, some of the others Santa Ramon, but most of them are Pleasanton. And he prints this page out. And by the way, this page goes out for a long time. Probably 80% of these are Pleasanton. And he goes to a list appointment, and people are blown away, and they're just like, "Sign me up, Doug." Because he's got the content to back up why he's the realtor in Pleasanton that's going to get the job done, so to speak. And so what I was able to do is create, I do that for all the different areas. He has all these different areas where I've created these different pages for. But I guess I'm just not trying to brag on anything. I'm trying to share with you that you can create content that gets found and you get seen. And by the way, if Google sees you as an expert, they're going to put you in front of more people when people ask related questions in regards to real estate and around that area. So, and by the way, you don't have to be the expert in 10 areas. Maybe you start out with 1 or 2 or 3, but be the expert. And I can tell you, this is not easy work. I said the harder work is pulling out of the agents their expertise, and I find the real estate agents I work with They have expertise, they have knowledge, but they haven't slowed themselves down enough to be able to pull it out of them and get it into paper, get into a video that people can see, that people can, that people can see and experience. By the way, my page pulled up there. I want to show that listing there. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this listing here. Okay, this listing here, believe it or not, is an empty. This bed is all done virtually. I don't know if you believe that or not, but okay, not there. But see, that's kind of empty. This is this room decorated virtually. Pretty cool if you think about it. There's that same picture, same the bath here, same thing. So there's tools that you can use, by the way. So you might not have known that you could do that. You can virtually stage at home, and it costs a little bit of money, but nothing like hauling the things out of storage and decorating it real nice, till it sells. Okay. So I shared with you that. Let me share with a few other things. Oh, I think you got to do video. This is Doug did a video of like a neighborhood. So you could, and this is just driving by and put a little music behind it. It's not hard to do into YouTube for a free hosting, but he has these videos of the different neighborhoods. Here's another one. He for just generally downtown, like Pleasanton. So video, it doesn't have to be staged. This was just him driving by and putting some nice music in the background, which you can get free music. He's got video tours of all his top neighborhoods within, like this is within Pleasanton. But he also, anyway, he does video and he's not afraid to do video. Why won't my house? Anyway, I know not all realtors are ready for video, but you got to start somewhere. And like I said, they don't have to be staged. They can be, you can be raw, but as long as it's honest and it's good information. This isn't all that staged. Anyway, anybody can do this. The other thing is provide school information. So on his website, we have homes broken down by schools, and he's actually taken time to create a map to show the school areas. So you can this is a map you can actually create if you have a Google account like Gmail. You can actually create these thumbtacks and then put links to the different schools, the school websites. Also, let's see, the other thing I want to show you. Okay, let's go. I want to draw. This is like for area of Pleasanton is a city, but it has neighborhoods drilled down inside Pleasanton. And he's taken the time to define the boundaries, and I put it in this map form on the website so that you can explore by neighborhoods within a city. So this, you can find the boundaries. And by the way, Google has most of the boundaries, even the smallest communities. I'm really amazed how you can go into Google, search a community, and it's going to give you the parameters of the area. So I click on that, and then it's going to take me to the neighborhoods, the preserve. And there's another page that we create in site that has but we use the Google tool to show that. And
here's another idea. Given all these disasters that are starting to happen or have been happening, fires here, floods there, if you can present yourself as an agent who understands those risks to particular houses, my guess is that a lot of new buyers and sellers will flock to you because they will feel like you can serve them better.
Yeah, I know a lot of the fires and such they had in California, it's brought a lot of, neighborhoods closer together. And if you can be a resource, in those neighborhoods and be a benefit, where to go, here's the local, maybe you share something in case of a fire, or maybe this is a mailing point that you do, in case of fire, or here's a local shelter, or here's a local resource, here's your utilities, and there's a lot of things that you can share cumulatively that homeowners might not have taken the time to figure these things out themselves. By the way, this is a really cool thing you can do. You can actually grab you have to have a target address. You have to start with a target address, but you can build a kind of like a street tour of the neighborhood just from a Google map, where people can drive the neighborhood, and you can embed this map right in your website. He does that for each one of the communities that he's that he's focusing on. So pretty cool when you can do something like that. And this is not hard to do. If you need help, give me a call. I'll be happy to help. Give you some ideas and pointers on how to do that. Okay, so we talked about, showing yourself as an expert, providing resources. We talked about showing your solds. We talked about creating real estate market reports, being an expert. We've talked about creating videos and then sharing those videos everywhere, particularly on the website. I've got here with Susan. I have the. Let me see if I could share that with you real quick. Got a lot of windows open, so yeah, let's go here. So yeah, so this is an area. This is Susan Rupert. Yes, she's a specialist in State College, but she's very particularly a specialist in Park Forest Village, which is an area near downtown. Beautiful area. It's all backed by trees and open space, and um, it happens to be an area that they jog a lot. But this is a page I built for her within her site, and so that she can show here's the latest bulletin points. Hey, we got um, a a large item pickup available on Monday. We post things in there. We show the boundaries of there. Here's a home she sold recently in that area. You can see all the homes are backed by these beautiful forest trees. By the way, I've set up her IDX to show, here's homes for sale in that Park Forest Village neighborhood. And I preset it so that's always, dynamic. So it's always showing that. And this page gets a lot of traffic. Of course, we drive traffic to it too. That's because people are looking to get into this area. This is an area that's pretty tight. You can see right now we got quite a few homes, but sometimes it dwindles down quite a bit. So, I shared a lot of content with you today. I hope I haven't bored you. Hopefully, I've opened your eyes to the opportunities that you have to really, take the time to focus on being an expert in whether that be a subdivision, a community, a master plan community, a community or town. I mean, there's some towns are small enough. Some people have asked, hey, what's a small enough area that would work to be? And I would say it really depends on how much turnover is happening in the neighborhood. But I would say typically, 300 to 600 homes is a great place to be, to be set as the expert in. And it only takes a little bit to get a foothold in that area. Once you get a couple signs, people think you own the neighborhood. That's just the way it is. It's not true, but that's just the way people, and it's a lot of it's perception. So are there any questions? I've kind of shared a lot of content here today. I want to see if there are any questions that need to be answered or comments from me.
No, there is a positive comment from Anne. She liked the presentation. I think agents usually don't think about this kind of stuff, branding things, and just think about my last word here. Thinking about how expensive doing something like this would have been even like 10, 15 years ago, when all you had is television and newspapers, right? Just one newspaper ad cost like $300-400.
Oh, just for 2 days, and then it's in the bottom of
Right.
the canary cage by Tuesday.
Right, exactly. So now you have the chance, because I tell you, most agents, and I talk to God knows 20 a day, and have been doing that for a long time, for 20 years. And most agents don't think about this in a systematic way. I mean, they understand that real estate is local, but when it comes to writing original and relevant content, and then pictures that are real, putting pictures together in some consumable video or something, with videos and stuff, that a lot of them don't even take the time for that, partly because they're busy and partly because they think it's really complicated, but it's really not. I always find that a lot of the agents are asking me, oh, well, I'm technologically not savvy, and there's nothing technology here, really. I mean, I don't know, you can call it technology if you want it, but there's nothing.
Technology is the tool just to be able to share with, but the rest of it
Exactly.
is
I mean, it's not
content and
more
expertise.
technology than driving a car or anything, right? You learn how to do it, what buttons to push, and then you can drive the car.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming to our webinar today. Hope you learned something. This is recorded. This has been recorded, and you guys will get a link to watch it again if you want to. If you missed something, if you'd like the notes from particularly the links to notes that I've gathered here today, feel free to email me, Eric. I'm webcoach@gmail.com. Be happy to help you out. Obviously, if you need help setting up any of these systems, this is something I do for a lot of RealBird clients, to help them get their marketing set up and their localized marketing as well. So thanks everybody for coming to the webinar. We will see you again. We got another webinar coming up here. Let's see me pull it up right here. Another webinar's coming up 2 weeks from today. I'm not sure we posted it yet.
Well, we
but
haven't posted it yet. We
Okay.
kind of like post it now 2 weeks at a time. We'll post
Okay.
it next week.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Have a great
Have a good
weekend.
day. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Gabe.